Now,
Okay.
if you're willing to introduce yourself, say whatever you like.
Okay. My name is Meg Moss. I'm a graduate student, single mom, business owner. About it.
Okay, cool.
34.
All right. Are you familiar with plans to build a citywide internet system?
I think it's a fabulous idea. I didn't know that Chicago was working on it, but I know that Philadelphia, where I used to live, was working on it, and it was shut down by the major companies that didn't want to lose money. So I do know that it's out there.
Great.
I think it needs to happen.
All right.
It needs to be a public access tool, and productivity and just general communication would be so much faster and just more efficient if we had that.
Okay. Where do you get your news?
NPR.
How would you describe the internet?
The internet is, well, for me, it's a massive part of what I do every day. I'm rehabbing an old house right now, and almost all of my shopping I do over the internet because there are a lot of things I need to find that you can only find by connecting with other people that want specific small things, like a 1925 stove. You're not going to find it in the store, and if you find it, you're going to find one, and it's going to cost a fortune. But there may be somebody random somewhere in Indiana that's selling one out of the grandmother's basement. So I use it for that kind of thing. I use it for research. Almost all of my school research I get on the internet and use that to access the libraries and the articles. I use it for my son to find things to do, to find classes, to find information, for health information. For my business, our website has always been a major educational tool for the public. I work for nonprofits that do public health education and access and outreach things, both here and in Ghana. And for that, the internet is the way that we find people. It's the way people find us. It's the way we get information out there. When I was in Ghana, I would have, in one particular time, I had a little girl who was clearly dying. I didn't know what was wrong with her. I was able to take digital pictures of the wounds that she had, email them to doctors in the States. They were able to access Medline and other medical sources, find out what was wrong, find out what we could do where we were with no technology in medicine to save her life, email it back to me. I went back to the village and we saved her life. I mean, basic thing we could not have done with mail. There's no mail there. There are no phones there. There's no electricity. The internet was the tool that we had.
Wow, that's very cool. How's technology integrated in your daily life?
The internet is the main technology that we use. Other than that, as I said, I'm doing an old house. I like old appliances. I like everything vintage except the internet, which is sort of the main just information source coming in, and the way that I connect with other people, with information. My son is 6. The one thing that he knows really well is how to get on the internet to find things he wants to play with and do, and I can find better quality stuff for him than just, if I were to go to Toys R Us, there's a bunch of junk. If I can get on the internet, I can find a couple of really nice educational tools from somewhere else that I might not be able to find. For used stuff, I save a lot of money by getting stuff used or free. It's a huge recycling tool for us. We use Freecycle a lot, which is a group of people all around Chicago who are getting rid of things, connecting with other people who need things. It would not be possible without the internet. And with the internet, we're able to keep a lot of things out of landfills. We're able to get a whole lot of stuff that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise, save money, stay out of the consumerism as much as we can. And so for us, it's a major improvement over what we would have without it.
How would you describe the internet if you had to describe it? What's your...
It's basically a way to make every individual person visible. Everyone is equal once they get on the internet. And I think that's what's really important about it. It's not everyone has a postal address, and you can't find them all if you look for them. You can't find a phone number for everyone. Not everyone's visible just behind their listing in the phone book. But with the internet, anyone can enter any forum, can connect with anyone they need to, in a way that makes every single person important and visible to whatever extent they want to be. Some people lie about what they're doing on the internet. Some people use it for bad purposes, but critical consumers can find their way through that. People lie in everyday life as well, but it allows everyone to be able to connect in a way that I think really facilitates just the freedom to move in our society. That's one thing that's lacking for a whole lot of people, is the ability to move through consumer circles, to move through information circles, to move physically through spaces. And with the internet, everyone is in the same place at the same time right away. And that's really important for many people.
How do you think mainstream media could do a better job?
Mainstream media, as far as I can see, is controlled by corporations. It's controlled by money. And that is extremely problematic because it doesn't become information anymore. It becomes a product. The reason I listen to NPR is that I believe I'm actually getting information, especially if I can listen to the BBC News, because that's information that's one more cross-check, one more source. You combine enough of them, you might end up with an objective picture. Mainstream media here, as soon as it's controlled by advertisers, what they're reporting changes. And I don't believe what's reported on the news. I don't listen to it. There may be a grain of truth in it, but I don't believe it. Same thing with the newspapers. When all the newspapers are controlled by one company, there can't be objectivity. They have certain agendas, and if there are enough newspapers available from different sources and you know their agenda, you can choose between them. But when everything is controlled at the top by one company and pretends that it's coming from a different source, that's a very dangerous tool. That's totalitarianism, and that's what I really think our media is moving into, and that frightens me. Again, that's why the internet is important, because it gives you an outside news source. I can get on the news from Ghana or from the Middle East or from BBC myself, and yes, there may be slants, there may be biases, there may be misinformation coming from that end, but if I get enough sources and combine them together, then I may end up with a different perspective on what's going on, and I may be able to see what really is going on.